Hello and welcome to Liah Howard Psychic Development and Channeling class number 4. Thank you so much for being here. We are going to be discussing accessing your divine higher self through the dimensions, your past self, your future self, and getting some wisdom and guidance from that larger invisible part of yourself that's here to help you to be the best psychic you can be, to be the best intuitive and channel that you can be. We will be doing a little bit of review of some of the tools from last week. I'm hoping that you worked with some of those tools with integrating and with doing some of the reading and the homework assignments as well. So our interdimensional self, that's our divine higher self, is always there. I've mentioned before that our higher self is sort of this huge being, and we're very tiny, almost like the fingernail, the tiny part of our finger. That's our personality self. So when we go into meditation and when we access this higher wisdom, we're able to get a tremendous amount of information. So I love it when you send me questions between the classes, and some people took the time to do that, and I so appreciate that. And I want to answer some of these questions first before we go on to the new material, just to answer a few questions. And then we will be doing the meditation. We're actually going to be doing a couple of different meditations today. So this is a day where you can just sit back and receive and enjoy and learn and grow. And then we'll be going through the homework. So let's look at some of the questions from students. In the meditation last week, I discovered that there is a part of me that is very traditional and is uncomfortable sharing this psychic development and channeling study with my clients and coworkers. I am a therapist. Any comments on this? Well, my first comment for this is sometimes these fears do come from past lives, which ties in a little bit to what we're going to be doing today. If you had a past life where you were, let's say, a shaman or an intuitive, a healer, a psychic, and you were burned at the stake, if you lived during that period when people were really tortured and abused, then you may have some very strong energy about coming out, about revealing this aspect of yourself in the world. Not that you're going to get tortured in this lifetime, certainly not in this country of America, but in some places, if you do have restrictions on your spiritual beliefs, there is a fear that you will be persecuted. So we can work with that a little bit today in the meditation. The other thing is, whenever you're looking for acceptance from the outside, that means that you're not listening to your voice from the inside strong enough. So know that when you're receiving guidance to help other people, and when you get an intuitive insight and you feel in your heart to share it, usually I ask my higher self, and like, if you really want me to share this, tell it to me 3 times. If I hear it 3 times, I have to share it, even if it's scary to share it. If you only get it once, you only get it twice, well, maybe it's just for your information and you don't really need to share it. But let's say you're a therapist. This person is a therapist and they work with clients and they get a very strong feeling of something to say, and it happens 3 times. That would be the indicator. Absolutely share this. Don't worry about how it's going to be taken, and don't worry about them thinking that you're weird, because your guides and angels wouldn't have instructed you to share that information if it really wasn't going to be in that person's highest and best interest. Years ago, I was a massage therapist, and I would be working on people's bodies, and sometimes I would just get messages. They would come through. It would either be a gift or talent or a past life or an energy, a loved one that happened to be in the room that was visiting, and I would always tune in and ask on a very, very deep level whether it was okay for me to share that. Because in a massage, a lot of times people want quiet. They may not really want to get that information. So I did the thing where I said, okay, if you really want me to share this, it needs to come 3 times. And if it came 3 times, I knew to share it. And oftentimes people would just really be very, very touched and very grateful for the help that they received. So you never know when it's going to be your turn to share this information in some way. And in terms of being felt weird about being a channel or a psychic, oh my goodness, we're all psychic, we're all channels. But that part, if you think about schools don't develop that part. And so we're sort of trained to be left brain rather than intuitive and creative. So if you just realize that you grew up with kind of a warped education in terms of the whole society and the whole community, and that the world is now beginning to come back into a balanced place, then you'll understand that that's perhaps some of your feelings about if they gave awards for who's the best intuitive or who's the best creative being with their healing ability in grammar school, like they give awards for spelling bees and math competitions, you wouldn't feel so weird about your gifts. You'd feel like it's a normal, wonderful gift that you have. So I just want to encourage you with that some of that is just simply past training from this lifetime as well. So listen inside, feel when it's right. Certainly don't offer information if it's not asked for, if you don't get that guidance 3 times. Let's see what the next question. How can I tell if I'm receiving clear guidance or if I'm making it up? This is a great question. And, Sanaya Roman, in her book, The Opening to Channel book, I love this book. I mean, I know there's many other books that are written on channeling, but this to me is still the best volume on channeling. And I'm hoping that you're each reading it, that this is like a bedside read. Just keep it there and work with it. If you refer to page 60 in that book, she does talk a little bit about how do you know if it's higher guidance, if you're making it up. And a lot of times our guides will use information that we've already learned, classes that we've studied, information that we've gathered, theories that we've learned from and grown from. And they access that information to use in the readings that we're doing for other people and in the information that comes through. So it may feel a little familiar, and you may not be sure that it's coming from the higher source, but what I say to you is, why did that particular piece of information come in right then and in that way? Why did another piece of information not come in? It came in because it's being gifted to you from the angels and your guides. So if you always start with prayer and you start with the highest and best intention, the highest and best will come through. And for you to trust that you're not making it up, that you're actually becoming like a telephone for the divine. So go ahead and read that book. Keep reading it. Read it and reread it. Do some of the exercises. Question number 3. What if I tune into a negative energy instead of a positive one? Well, just like if you're if you're walking down the street and you see somebody who looks very violent and kind of vicious, you stay away from them, right? You don't suddenly get into their space. So you don't invite them into your energetic space. You might divert your eyes, you might close off your energy field, walk down a different street or something of that nature. You don't put yourself in that neighborhood. Same thing with psychic work. We do not put ourselves in the neighborhood of negative entities or beings who are just kind of fooling around on the astral plane, and they're not really here for the highest and best service. They're sort of in between, and they haven't moved on to the light, and they're a little confused. So what we do is we send them light. And we know that because we are in this 3rd dimensional reality, we are the ones who command this plane. And they do not ever come in without our agreement. So sometimes people say, well, negative entities, people get attachments to negative entities. The truth is this, that when you're in your center and you're in your power, you do not draw negative entities, especially when you start your work with prayer and the highest vibration of love. So you want to always get into that vibration of love. And if you do feel that there's a negative entity or energy, you can ask. You simply say, are you of the light? Look in that book, page 39. Are you of the light? If they are not of the light, they do need to declare themselves, and they do need to go as soon as you banish them. We're going to be working later on in some of the other classes about psychic self-defense and protection. But in the meantime, know that if you've done your inner light work, you've filled your body with light, you've filled your room with light, you've filled your heart with light, and you're calling on only the highest and best beings, that is what's going to come through for you. Don't worry. Okay. Let's review. There's that beautiful pie with all the different parts. We did the meditation last week on integrating the parts of yourself, your physical, intellectual, emotional, spiritual, and free will. And now we have this traditional part as well. And I'm just checking in, how's it going? Because you did receive some suggestions from that meditation about what to do. Maybe some integration, maybe some meditation, some healing, some letting go. So I'm hoping that you followed through with some of that information that you received and that you're feeling more integrated in yourself, and as though all of you is on board to really develop your gifts. And should there be any parts, from other past lifetimes or future selves, we'll look at that today so that we can get completely open and ready to be the best psychics we can be. Okay, we're going to review this tool. I want you to just tune in. I want you to close your eyes for just a moment and imagine that you have a thermometer, and it goes from 0 to 100 or 0 to 10, either way. And I want you to look at your energy level right now and see how high it goes. And actually picture the thermometer going up, or you can do the ruler from side to side, whichever you prefer, whichever works best for you. 1 is very, very low and 10 is very, very high. I want you to check into your energy, your physical energy level right now. Okay, good. Remember, if it's below 7, that you want to do some work on energizing yourself to do good psychic work. You want to be at least a 7. So if you're having pain in your body, you might want to send light to those parts of your body. If you're having tiredness and you're feeling a little drowsy, you might want to walk on the earth and get energized, drink some water. You want to always have water handy and be drinking, okay? We also did last week the hands. Remember where we put our hands out and we do the yes and no? I'm curious if some of you have worked with that. Keep using that this week. We visualize pain and fear going to the horizon and dissipating into light and letting it go. We did the candle gazing meditation. I'm hoping that you followed through with that and you actually focused on the candle flame and were able to come into a place of deep, deep quiet. We do that. It's a focusing exercise. We do the focusing exercise so that when we receive our inner guidance, it's very clear and focused. That's working with training the left brain. The right brain is more free flow and flowing, and the left brain is more focused. So we want to get that in line. And dialoguing with your inner child. Remember, what do you want and what do you need, so that your inner child is on board with you, with opening to your intuition. We're going to start today's class with a meditation. This is from Doreen Virtue's book. It's called Divine Guidance. You can see it right here. And it's an opening heart chakra exercise. The reason that we're going to do this is we want our heart to be resonating with the heart of the divine. So any part of us that may not be open and clear, we want to clear away. So you just get to get really comfortable and to sit with your back as straight as you can, as comfortably as you can. And we're going to do this is from page 196 and 197 for the healing meditation. So the first thing that I'd like you to do is to close your eyes and to picture, just as in this picture, there's a green light. Peek at that picture. There's a green light in the heart. I want you to see a beautiful green light in the heart chakra. Green is the color of growth. Think of green, growing, open, nice open heart chakra. And let the green light that's in your heart, that beautiful vibrant light, let it fill every cell of your being so that it goes out to your shoulders and your arms and your fingertips and your legs, all the way through your whole system, filling yourself with white and green light, beautiful sparkling light. So then it feels as though you're in a bubble of light, this green light. Growth. This is the green light of growth, because you want your heart now to grow from your personal heart all the way to a much bigger heart, the heart of the divine. The way that you know your heart is connecting to the heart of the divine, complete unconditional love. Your judging mind has stepped aside and quieted, and your open heart is present. So allow that green light to soothe your heart. And with a deep breath, be willing to allow the light to carry away any fears you may have about love. Sometimes in life, our hearts get a little wounded, or a little hurt, a little damaged, and they begin to close. But our natural nature is open-heartedness. Our natural nature is flowing, love flowing in and flowing out. A beautiful, beautiful vessel and vehicle for love. So just breathe in love into your heart. Complete, divine, unconditional love. And know that the angels and your ascended master teachers are working with you right now on healing any wounded place in your heart. Take another deep breath and allow yourself to open more to love. Sometimes in life we may have felt a little manipulated or tricked or abandoned or used, rejected, persecuted or hurt. These are some of the feelings that the heart, some of the wounding that can be held in there. It may come from childhood. It may come from early relationships. It may come from present relationships, this feeling of woundedness. You might even want to just place your hand on your heart, just very tenderly, placing your hand on your heart, and imagine that it's the hand of your guardian angel, and your guardian angel, with their big loving hand, is holding your heart in theirs, and they're rocking you. And you might even want to just let your body rock just a little bit, sort of like a mother rocks a baby. Let your guardian angel rock you just a little bit. Feel that love. And really open your heart to receiving love, the love of your guardian angel, who has nothing else to do other than to just be here with you and love you and hold you, protect you, cradle you. Let your heart feel what it feels like to be open to receiving love with no agenda. Love with no agenda. Just love. Just because. Just because you're opening your heart to that vibration of unconditional love, you get to experience it and receive it. And now we're going to take a deep breath in, and then on the exhale, I want you to release any fear of loving. And these are usually old fears like, well, if I love, I might get hurt, I might get maimed, I might get betrayed, I might get controlled or abused, I might get deceived. All those old fears. I want you to breathe in now, pure love. And breathe out any fears. The truth is, you're wired to love. You're meant to love. Your heart wants to vibrate with unconditional love. Your soul wants to teach you about unconditional love. It's often why people are drawn into the realm of psychic development. They want to learn how to love from the soul's perspective of complete unconditional love. So we're letting go of all that past conditioning that says love needs anything. Love needs nothing. Love is complete. Love is whole. You are complete. You are whole. All is well. So sometimes there's individuals in our lives that we feel we may have created some karma with, and we need to forgive them and let them go. So just check your heart and see if there's anybody in there that you're still holding any unforgiveness or resentment, or any negative feelings in any way. This could be towards your parents or past lovers, friends, neighbors. And if you're having trouble releasing them and forgiving them, ask your guardian angel and your higher self to help you right now to see them through the eyes of love. You can even picture them as a child, an innocent child who didn't mean to do you any harm. Maybe they were just hurting themselves. Allow all of your hurts and disappointments associated with them to be cleansed and fully carried away. You don't want to hold this hurt in your heart. You want your heart to be open and full of love. Allow the lesson to remain, what you learned from that experience, so you will choose a different way in the future. But let the hurt go. Let the love remain. Let the hurt go. Let the betrayal or the woundedness, release it. You don't need it anymore. You're ready to love. with another deep breath in, filling the lungs. Let that beautiful green light come all the way into your body fully and feel the openness there. That you are an open, clear vehicle and vessel for love. Sometimes our hearts have closed a little because we betrayed our own hearts. We had intuition and we didn't listen to it. And I want you to just allow your heart to be bathed like a waterfall washing over your heart, forgiving yourself for any time you betrayed your own intuition and you didn't listen. Forgiving and letting go. And imagine that you're giving yourself a hug, a great big hug, hugging your arms. And let your inner self know that from now on, you're going to listen to your intuition. You're going to follow your intuition. And you're going to trust your intuition. So now you've decided to follow and commit to your intuition, and you have the discernment. We're going to let go of any mistakes from the past and release them. And with another deep cleansing breath, I want you to realize that you are whole and complete. And enjoy the love that is the truth of who you really are. You are a being of love. Nothing but love can come to you. Nothing but love can be here with you now. Open to that love. So as we lose our fear of love and as we get our heart muscles going in loving, opening to receiving and giving love, our intuition becomes clearer and clearer and clearer. It's true. Because we're not operating out of fear, we're not operating out of past beliefs, we're not operating out of old emotions. I want to thank you for loving yourself enough to be here, to open to your intuition, to your highest guidance. Just rest in that peace of love. Alrighty, so today we're talking about how do we connect with our past or future selves or higher self. Well, in that meditation we connected with our higher self. That's love. Our higher self is complete unconditional love. And we can do that in a number of ways. I'm going to list them and then we'll look at each one individually. The very first way is through meditation. Meditation. I'm hoping each of you is meditating every day. Whether you're doing the alternate nostril breathing or the candle gazing or working with a mala or counting your breaths or sitting in silence. Meditation helps to focus the mind. When the mind is focused, you're able to receive the visions, the insights, and the wisdom from your higher self. Channeling. I always mention this every week. I'm going to remind you I have 3 meditations on my website at this point that you can listen to for free and practice your channeling. You can go through the channeling checklist and practice that. Another form is hypnosis, journaling, dreams, lived experience, and rebirthing. Why is it beneficial to connect with our past or future selves? Well, because then we can access gifts that we've already developed. So if you've had many, many, many different lifetimes, you've probably developed all kinds of wonderful gifts. That's how you have these childhood Mozarts and childhood artists and childhood psychics. They've developed that in many, many different lifetimes and dimensions, and they're bringing it, accessing it here now. The other reason for connecting with these past selves and future selves is for clearing away any residual fears or beliefs that we may have taken on that are not true anymore. So if you lived in a lifetime where it was unsafe or unacceptable to be psychic, and there's a residual energy from that, that's good to clear. That's good to know so that you can be free of it. And sometimes we make contracts in other dimensions with beings. And the time is up for those contracts, just like you would sign a rental contract. You're going to be there a year, and then it's up. Are you going to renew or not? Some of these contracts we do not want to renew. They were contracts that we made, like, for example, a common contract is people make with poverty. If they have a lifetime where they're a monk and they want to take a vow of poverty, and then they have a few other lifetimes, and that vow of poverty is still there, but it's not serving them anymore because they're living in a different time, in a different space, and they have to pay the rent. So we want to break that contract so that we can be up to date and we can receive. That's just an example of an outdated contract. So meditation is one of the forms of connecting to your higher self. But it's one of those tools, if you don't use it, it doesn't work. If you want to put a nail in the wall and you use a hammer, it works. But if you don't use it, it doesn't work. You have to meditate every day. Every day. And if you're one of those people that really can't sit still, find a walking or a movement meditation. Put some music on and move your body, but meditate. Find your way. This book, the opening to channel, again, has many different exercises. And this one is consider a situation. This is a little exercise in inner guidance. So this is one of the benefits of meditation. So we just did that heart opening meditation. So we're all in a pretty quiet place, open place. So I want you to visualize that you're going into your heart. And I want you to hold a situation in your life that's been either frustrating or challenging, or maybe it's not something with you, but there's somebody that you know and love. Maybe your life is going really perfectly right now and everything is smooth and harmonious and it's wonderful. But maybe there's somebody that you really love and care about and you know that they're going through a hard time. And you'd like to get a little guidance for how you could help them. So I want you in your heart right now to just picture whatever that situation is. And you can give it a word or a picture, a symbol, an energy or essence, a color, and just feel it. And feel if there's any constriction around it. Usually there is, and that's why it's there, because we need to bring light in. So picture light coming into the situation. Now envision your higher self, that beautiful, pure part of yourself that's wise, and patient, and loving. And ask your higher self right now, why is this happening? How is this situation serving my soul? What am I learning? What am I actually learning from this situation? And that often helps to deal with the situation. So let's ask inside, what am I learning from this situation? And take a moment to go inside. And sometimes you're learning more than one thing. Perhaps there's a list of 3 things that you're learning. So you should have your journal handy. Remember, for each class, I'd like you to have a journal or a piece of paper handy. Would you write that down? Write down, this is the situation, just put a name on it. And then write down what that guidance was that you got. Just write it down so you remember it. This is what you're learning from that situation. So if you get frustrated and it comes back around and it's not quite resolved yet, just remind yourself that there's a bigger picture that your soul is gifting you with that will help you in the future. There's a gem in there. There's always a pearl in every situation. Okay, so here's another way that we can access our divine higher self, and that's through hypnosis. And you can do self-hypnosis, or you can work with an individual who's trained in hypnosis that can bring you to past lifetimes, future lifetimes, past experiences in this lifetime. I would recommend that you find somebody that you feel comfortable with, that you feel safe with, and that you can do a guided meditation with, that you can really access these other dimensions. I love this image of the man walking up the steps, that vision of going to a higher plane of existence. Journaling. This is again an excellent way to access your higher self. You can write a question with your dominant hand and answer the question with your non-dominant hand. When you do this, you're accessing both your right and left brain. You're writing with your dominant hand and receiving the answer with your non-dominant hand. Dreams. This dream book has symbols for understanding. I said in the very first class to get a dream book that you're working with and begin developing a language of communication with your higher self. Each week you should really be adding at least 3 new symbols from this dream book. And they're symbols that you can use in getting and receiving information. So work with the dreams and remembering your dreams. You will get guidance from your dreams. Your higher self talks to you through your dreams. And not just these kind of dreams, not just dreams that you dream when you're sleeping, but the dreams of your higher vision. One of the ways you know that you have a dream is if you're in life and you're looking out at life and you see somebody who has something that you want. Say they have a red Corvette, and you've always really wanted a red Corvette, but you forgot, and you feel a little jealous. That means that that's something that your higher self wishes for you to have. So just pay attention to that that's part of your dream world. That's part of your visionary self. It's part of your message from your higher self. If you feel jealous in any way, it's not bad. It's just an indicator that that's something that your higher self is wanting you to realize that you can manifest in your life. Oh, I'm a cute baby. So babies breathe from the belly. That's their natural way of breathing. And when we're connected to our higher self, we're breathing from that place, belly breathing. It's where the inhale and the exhale connect. And we're coming into that conscious breathing. So if there's not someone in your neighborhood who does conscious breathing, now with the wonderful use of the internet, you could connect with an individual either in your community or around the world who can help you with conscious breathing. And in this way, you can access some of these other dimensions as well. It opens an interdimensional doorway when we become consciously focused on our breath. The lived experience of life, our higher self is always guiding us through every choice we make, every decision we make, every place we go, every experience that we have. Our higher self is talking to us. Our higher self will talk to us through other people, through ads on the TV or the radio, through signs, through books that fall off shelves. So you want to pay attention to these expressions of our higher self connecting. So on interdimensional levels, right here where we are, this is considered three-dimensional, 3D, our physical reality, the books, the tables, the chairs. But we have many different levels that we exist on, and there's other different levels of being. So another level is the astral level. I talked about it briefly, and this is where some beings hang out in between lives, and they seek to visit Earth. So the astral level is not the best level to hang out on. We want to go to a higher plane, to the causal plane. So if you feel that on some way you're hanging out on the astral level, a lot of times people who do drugs and alcohol, they end up hanging out, a part of their consciousness is hanging out on that astral level because they're not fully present in their body and they're lifting up and out and kind of hanging out in that dimension. That's also where you can connect with entities that you may not want to have tagging on to your energy stream. So you want to go past the astral level to the causal plane, the higher dimensions and levels of being, which is what we do when we say a prayer. So the astral level is one level in plane, but we want to go to that higher level where the ascended masters are, the angels, the archangels, and the higher divine self. So, if you're doing these things that I'm telling you about, you're meditating, you're staying positive, you're filling yourself with light, you're drinking lots of water, you're resting, you don't even have to worry about hanging out on that astral level. That's not going to happen for you. What is the main message from your higher self about your soul's purpose this lifetime? It's always good to ask that. What is the main message from your higher self about your soul's purpose this lifetime? One of the best ways that you can access that is actually getting a life between life regression. These are a very, very special form of hypnosis where instead of just taking you to a past life or to a future life, You actually go to your life between life. And there are special hypnotherapists that have studied this, that specialize in this. I can give you the name of one, Savarna Wiley, Wiley. It's Savarna, Savarna. She's a wonderful life between life. It's a very extended hypnotherapy session. You should have some experience in doing past life sessions first, but when you go to that life between life, you get a whole understanding of what you chose this particular lifetime for, and who you chose to be in your soul family, what you chose are your gifts, and how you can use that to be fully who you are, your interdimensional being right here, right now. So I do recommend getting one of these sessions. But just right now for a moment, I love this picture. The woman is sitting there and she sees this larger self. So picture yourself sitting there and see your larger, higher self sitting behind you, and it's got a very, very large presence. And he or she is just radiating love to you. And ask your higher self right now to give you one word, just one word. What are you here for? What is your purpose in this lifetime? Did you get it? Okay. All right. So, you got your word. So that's part of what you're here for. So everything else, raising your children and going to your job and cleaning your house and washing your car, those are all extra. If you can remember to keep that word in your consciousness, then you're working with your divine higher self. Does anybody want to share what their word was? I'd be kind of curious to see a couple of the words. We'll take a minute to have you type. Oh, love. That's a wonderful purpose. That's a wonderful purpose, is to love. Yes. Serve. To serve. To serve humanity, to serve the soul. Wonderful. Anybody else want to share? Do you know how? You have to type in that text box in the bottom. There we go. Ascension. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. And here's another one. Children. Aww. Helping the children. There's so many different life purposes. That is your soul's purpose. That's one of the reasons you came back. So whenever you feel like your life is getting a little hard, or there's too many things to deal with, just remind yourself that you're here for a larger purpose. It helps when you remember your mission. All right, let's move on. Oh, to heal. To heal. Heal self, heal others, heal the planet. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, so, I don't know how many lifetimes we've had, and some people will say, well, maybe we haven't had any, and who knows? But let's say we have 700 lifetimes. It's just a guess. We could have been male or female, or neither or both, because some of these lifetimes might not have even been in this dimension. It could have been an intergalactic lifetime where you really weren't in a human body where you experienced these feelings. You were in a whole space body. Light body. You could have lived in many different countries, or in many different planets, or had many different ethnicities. You could have been many different ages. You could have been born and lived a very, very, very long, full life, or you could have had a very, very short life. You could have lived, again, in places, jungles or cities. You could have lived in a whole different time era, many different time eras. You could have had many different purposes. You could have made many different connections. Now, often we have certain soul families that we incarnate with. People that will say, okay, you're going back, I'll go back. That we connect with, and they say that you connect with people either for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. I cannot remember who told me that, but I love that. You connect with other beings for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. So sometimes we have to be willing to let go of those people that we thought it was going to be a lifetime connection, and it's only a reason or a season. And we've had many different missions. many different missions. And I'm sure the word that you got from your higher soul self is part of the thread that has been wound through all of these different expressions. So in other lifetimes, we may have had contracts, positive or negative, and we may have developed certain beliefs that are beneficial or detrimental, depending on them. And we may have had connections that were supportive or hindering. And it has to do with our soul level, and it has to do with our readiness and willingness to move on. Sometimes people would rather stay complacent and stuck rather than move through pain, because they're not sure they're going to get through whatever that pain is. And so, like the canary who's in the cage, it stays in the cage even when the door is open, because that's all it knows. It doesn't know there's a whole world out there where it can fly. But through different experiences in different lifetimes, we learn. My belief is that all of these lifetimes and all of these other dimensions are happening simultaneously. So there may be a part of myself who's feeling completely liberated, and there may be a part of myself who's feeling completely trapped and stuck and victimized. And that these different areas and parts of myself can coexist, and I can tap in and tune in to whatever is going on, whatever's needed in that moment. Sometimes I have to remember feeling trapped in order to feel free. It's that contrast. So if we've had many, many, many deaths, and who knows for sure, but if we have had many, many deaths, some of them maybe were painful, and some of them maybe were easeful, where we prepared and we were ready to let go of the body. And some of them may have been sudden, and some of them may have been chosen, and some of them may have been unexpected. So how we deal with death in this lifetime often is a result of how we have come to resolution with death in other lifetimes. The reason we're talking about all this is so that we can be the most open psychic channels that we can be. So if we have any issues with death or fear of death, that is going to inhibit our openness, because we may be afraid we're going to get stuck in the other dimensions and that all of us won't come back. We may be afraid that we're going to be taken over in those other dimensions, that we will lose our sense of self and our centeredness in our being. So we want to let go of that. And we may be afraid that we're going to lose our empowerment, which is our connection to our higher self in this lifetime. We may have gained knowledge in many different levels and ways, whether it was, again, on Earth plane or in other planets or galaxies or dimensions. We may have had tremendous intellectual knowledge. A lot of the information that's coming through now in terms of technology is very advanced, and some of these people lived in other dimensions, Atlantis, where the technology was quite developed, and they're re-accessing that information. We may have scientific knowledge that's far beyond what is available now that we can access. Visionary information that comes as a result of other lifetimes, seeing the change. Some of you may be drawn to those science fiction sci-fi movies. If you're one of those individuals that love sci-fi movies, you probably have many future lifetimes that you're tapping into. And if you're somebody who likes to look at old war movies or look at old cowboy movies, you probably have many, many lifetimes that was a very familiar feeling. And sometimes we just go back to the familiar. It's really just a matter of, this is familiar, it feels safe, and so we like it. We don't know why we like it, but we like the old westerns. Maybe you had a number of lifetimes where that's where you were working things out. You may have been humanitarian. You may have learned about humanity as a whole and be applying that in this lifetime. You may have gained personal knowledge for your soul self in terms of your ability to bring forth your gifts, to love in a more highly evolved soul way, have developed your soul qualities rather than just your personal qualities. And you may have developed your philosophical understanding, and that's bringing in those older soul qualities into this lifetime. So sometimes it may feel in this lifetime that you're working from a very old soul level, and then other times you feel like, I know nothing. I know nothing. Like, teach me. And that's because we kind of go in and out through the dimensions, through these ways of being. And we may have very practical skills. We may have been a carpenter, and all of a sudden we decide we're going to, in retirement, start building, and all of a sudden we're this amazing woodcrafter and carpenter, and who knew that was there? But that skill was latent. It was dormant. It was waiting to be tapped into and developed. So we are now going to do a guided meditation, and I want you to just get really comfortable. You might need to get a drink of water, adjust your seat, and just allow yourself to relax. This is a very relaxing class today. It's going to be about 15 minutes long. I think I'll turn the music up just a little bit. I have some beautiful harp music on in the background. So you see in front of you a road. See the picture of the road? And there's all these houses in a neighborhood. And that's our busy life. But do you see that cloud in the distance? I want you to imagine that right now with your eyes open. You're walking down this road and there's no traffic. And you're feeling pretty peaceful and it's a beautiful sunny day. You're walking down the road. And then you're going to go up that mountain in the back. You see the mountain in the back? Not the first mountain. We're going to walk all the way to the back mountain that's by the cloud. That's where we're walking today together. Just a nice little walk. It feels so good to walk on the earth and to feel that alpha brainwave vibration. The earth vibrates at that 7.8 hertz, which is the alpha brainwave, which is a very peaceful, relaxed place to be. So we're walking down. We're coming to this beautiful green hill in the back. Now you can close your eyes. We're going to go to the top of that hill. And you're going to look up at that cloud, that puffy, puffy white cloud. It's the puffy white cloud up there, and it looks very soft, fluffy, and full. And now there's a little cloud that's near the puffy white cloud. And you see that little cloud? That is your special little cloud. And what I'd like you to do is I want you to envision that your body's going to be on top of this little green mountain in a very soft place to lay down. Like perhaps a soft little area of grass or a soft little area of leaves or a nice soft little field up on the mountain or under the trees. And I want you to just lift your consciousness up out of your body and look down and see your body laying on that little soft spot. And it just feels so good to relax like that and not have to do anything and let your body rest. And now in your consciousness, I want you to let your spirit self lift up and go a little higher, about 30 feet up from your body, and just see your body laying there peaceful. Maybe a little smile on your face. And now I want you to shift your attention to the little cloud. And the little cloud is very, very special because it's glowing. It has just this amazing, almost like a luminous glow to it. And it's drawing you forth to that little cloud. And just let your soul self be lifted up and drawn to that little cloud. And you're in your spirit light body, and it's very, very easy to move. So just fly up there to the little cloud. And go through the cloud, and then I want you to nestle onto this cloud. To just let your head, kind of put your head back on the cloud and rest your back there and feel how fluffy and soft it is and how it's really supporting you. And it just feels so good. It's just the perfect temperature. It's sort of like the feeling of, some of you may remember water beds where they were kind of warm and it would feel nice and warm underneath you and very supportive and very comfortable. So just let yourself lay on this little cloud, laying back. And feel the light from this cloud. There's almost like a little hum of energy. And you feel the hum, hear it getting a little bit louder and a little bit faster. And in a way it feels as though it's kind of like an engine revving up, but it's an esoteric engine. It's actually, this particular cloud is a very special vehicle for time travel. So you're just letting it rev up a little, and you can hear it kind of, it's revving up a little, and you can feel it begin to move. And you're getting a little excited because you know that this little cloud is working with your higher self, and your higher self has a remote control and can work with this cloud, bringing you through time and through space. So we're first going to go to a past lifetime that's of special significance to you in this lifetime. This is a past lifetime that in some way is going to relate to this lifetime. And all you have to do is just sit on this little cloud and let the little cloud move, because your higher self has the remote. So your higher self is moving you through the sky, and just see which direction the cloud is moving. Just like the mouse on the computer gets moved, your higher self is moving this little cloud to the exact perfect dimension through time and space. And there's nothing you need to do to make this happen. And then you hear the sound of being moved. You hear it going in the opposite. Instead of whoop, it's kind of going, and it's slowing down. And you're on this cloud, and you can feel that you're in a different time dimension, that you have actually shifted through time and space, through another time and space. So with your little light body, I want you to just gently, just like you're jumping off the bed, I want you to just jump off and allow your feet to drift down through the sky and to land in this other dimension until you feel your feet actually landing on the surface. And then I want you to look down. That's right. And see your feet. Look at your toes. What does this particular body look like in this other time and dimension? And see if you can get a sense. And it may not, it may be very different than what you had imagined, but you're trusting your higher self is bringing you to the exact right time and place in whatever dimension this is. And feel your feet. And then look down and see, do they look masculine or feminine? Do they look young or old? Do they look non-human? What do they look like? And just feel them. And then ask your divine higher self to reveal to you the rest of your body in that lifetime. And then look down at yourself. And then see what you're wearing. Really get a sense of what clothes you're wearing. And now as you're looking at your clothes, I want you to look around and see what time frame you're in. And just like when a child colors in a coloring book, the whole world around you is getting filled in. Just as you look, all the colors are filling in, all the background is filling in. It's all getting downloaded right now. Now, I want you to get a sense of looking at yourself from above. So lift your consciousness up out of this body and look at yourself in this time frame. And see where you are. See if there's any buildings. See if you're indoors or outdoors. See what's happening around you. Really get a sense of what's happening around you. You have a very integral part in this dimension, in this lifetime. And there is a gift that you have received in that lifetime, either from a positive or a negative experience that you are to carry forth and learn from in this lifetime. So we're going to just move ahead in that lifetime a little bit. We're going to have you either walk a little bit forward in that lifetime to an incident of emotional consequence that's going to offer you an insight into this lifetime. So see yourself moving forward. You may walk through a door, you may walk through a time dimension in some way. You may find yourself in an older body, in a different place. But see yourself in that new environment and see what you're doing. Okay, now take in all the details of that. Take in the surroundings, the feeling in your body. Do you feel safe? Do you feel happy? Are you worried? Is there anything that's pressing on you? Is there a particular gift that you're using? Is there a reason for that? Because this particular lifetime that you went to, there's a reason that you chose this one, that your higher self wants you to visit it. So receive the gift from that lifetime. There's somebody there with you. I want you to look into their eyes, for they are connected in this lifetime in some way. See who they are. Were they a help? Were they a support to you, or were they a hindrance? Are they present in your lifetime now? Look into their eyes. See if you recognize this soul. Who is this being? See if they recognize you. Okay. All right. Now we're going to move forward in time again, letting go of that scene that you just saw, but remembering to take the gift with you, the emotional content that's of help in this lifetime. We're going to go to the moment when you transitioned out of that body into the non-physical. So let your higher self carry you there. You don't have to try to do it. Just let your higher self transport you to the moment when you transition. You're going to do about a couple minutes before you transitioned out of that physical body. I want you to see where you are. I want you to see who's around you. I want you to see how you felt about death in that lifetime. Who was there? Were you ready? Did it come too sudden? Were you surprised? Did you prepare? Is there anything left undone from that lifetime? Is there any contract that you made that you're carrying into this lifetime that you need to let go of? Is there anybody you need to let go of? Is there any forgiveness that needs to happen? And then feel yourself transitioning into the non-physical, into that place between lifetimes. If there was any pain in the body, you don't have to experience that. Just lift up above it and witness it. Like a fly on the wall. Just witness. Disconnect emotionally and watch. And then see yourself go into the non-physical. Great. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go back up to our special little luminous cloud. We're going to thank our higher self for sharing this piece of the journey with you in this time, knowing that you have received all the gifts and blessings of that lifetime. You'll be journaling a little bit about that. Now go back up to the luminous cloud and let yourself get comfortable, feeling your higher self. And let your higher self now bring you to a future lifetime. This is a lifetime that's going to be of assistance to you as you work with opening your psychic, intuitive self, your intuition, your channeling ability. Just let the cloud go, passing through dimensions at light speed or supersonic light speed. And feel yourself stepping off and floating down ever so gently to this other lifetime, in this other dimension of being, your future self. And see where you are. See your feet. See your physical being. Take note of it. Feel the energy in your vehicle, your vessel, your body. Feel the energy vibrating. Notice how your mind works. Does it work differently than in this lifetime? Are there any gifts or abilities that you have? Really feel it. Expand your consciousness to this future lifetime. This is a lifetime that is here to help you to expand your intuitive ability and your psychic abilities. All right. This is one of the gifts that you are to take back with you in this lifetime. So feel yourself in that lifetime reaching out. Bring that gift back into your heart. And now bring it back to the cloud. Let the cloud come back to the street. Remember the little street that we were walking down? Or back up on top of the mountain? Feel yourself in the grass. See your body laying there. Come back into your physical body on the grass in the mountain. See the little cloud and thank it for carrying you. And now, walk down the mountain and feel this sense of being reconnected with more of who you are, with the gifts from your future self and the gift from your past self. And walking down the hill and through the neighborhood, and walking right back into this present moment, right here, right now, hearing my voice fully. And I want you to begin to feel your body sitting where you're sitting, feeling your feet, your legs, your back, your whole body. And I'd like you to write in your journal, just real quick, take a moment to get out your journal and write, what was your main message from your past self? What were you to learn, or to let go of, or to forgive, or to know? Is there anybody special that you have a connection with in this lifetime? And just jot it down. And then I'd like you to do the message from your future self, and to feel what that energy was about that. What was it about your future self that's part of your gift in using your psychic intuitive abilities in this lifetime? That was a really fun one for me. I was able to tune in. I went into this lifetime where I was able to, it was just like a network of information streaming in, and being able to feel what was happening all around the globe. It was really pretty amazing. Sort of like how your computer can process more than one thing at a time. It felt like my mind could process information coming in and going out all at the same time. It was amazing. So I'm hoping that you got a good meditation there. Some interesting information. Did anybody want to share maybe just a couple in short words? If there was a lifetime, a gift that you received, or a contract that you needed to break, or anything from that meditation, either past or the future. I'll give you a minute to type that out. We'd love to hear. Our divine higher self is so present with us. I'll turn the music off. I don't know if we're typing. I'm gonna. Oh. So it looks like somebody had a meditation where they were able to have some forgiveness with their mom and dad. That's beautiful. That's wonderful. I'm so glad. And when we're able to do that, we release anywhere our energy is being held from the past, and we're able to just connect in and be present. So hopefully you are all journaling about those messages, and we're going to go ahead and move on. So I want you this week to be journaling all throughout the week, and to keep a list of questions that you have that you would like answered, either through one of the exercises or at the beginning of the class. Aha, here's another comment. All is temporary. That's the message from somebody's past life. All is temporary. So true. If we can remember that, huh? And here's one from the future. We are the internet of consciousness. We are the internet of consciousness. We are the vehicles and the vessels. Okay. So, I would like you to, in opening the channel on page 89 and 90, there are some questions of a personal nature and questions of a universal nature, and this is part of your homework that I would like you to do for our next class, is to go through and answer these questions. And you can work with a tape recorder, a digital recorder, or you can write them down, or you could work with a friend, that you actually go into a deep state of connection with your higher self, and the person asks the questions and then you answer them. Or you can work with writing them down and receiving the information on a journal. I want to review a couple of the tools from the earlier couple of classes so that you're using them regularly in your lives. So this first tool is the rose. Energetically, if you feel any energy, the way that you can apply this is if you have a past life connection with someone and all of a sudden there's somebody you meet and you don't know why, but energetically you're just not feeling a resonation. It feels almost like sandpaper or kind of uncomfortable. Use the rose of protection. Put that between you. Let it absorb any negative energy, and then put another new rose there, nice and fresh and beautiful. This infinity loop, really, you have to be using this every day. I am one with all the love in the universe, and I am rooted and grounded. I am one with all the love in the universe, and I am rooted and grounded. Please practice with the infinity loop, connecting with your divine higher self, that love up above, bringing that into your heart. You can use a special color to bring that love in, and then connecting rooted and groundedness down below. I love to do this exercise when I am walking. So keep doing this exercise as well. It will help you with your channeling and opening. So our homework for this week is, I'm reminding you, and if you live in a place where you really can't walk, where it's too cold, it's hard to imagine that from Maui, but if you live in a place where it's too cold, you need to do yoga or an elliptical inside, somewhere that you're going to be working with getting your body moving, getting the energy, you're oxygenating your brain, you're oxygenating your blood so that your vehicle will work better. You're also letting go of any issues or problems or mind things that are going on. Walking is one of the best meditations that you can do. You must walk every day. I want you each meditating in a sacred space. And remember, you were supposed to create a sacred space in your home, a place that's your special, special place where you can sit, you can center, you can go within. Again, practicing the channeling exercise is always a good thing to do. Journaling, keeping track of your dreams, keeping track of the messages. Hopefully now you're all working with signs from your guides and getting messages. And then in the Opening to Channel book, please read pages 46 and 47 and do the exercise on page 122. And today we did discuss, this is just summarizing, accessing the soul through the dimensions. I mentioned many different ways of accessing the soul. And you can do that meditation with the little cloud anytime you like and access other lifetimes and get information. We did work on clearing away blocks, fears, old beliefs that limit our intuitive knowing. Next week, we're going to be working with the left and the right brain. So part of your homework for this week is to be looking at your house, looking at your closet, looking at your bookshelf, and see, do you have more right brain information there, or do you have more left brain information? Remember, the right brain is the intuitive, creative, and the left brain is the more linear, logical. And looking at that balance in your home, in your clothing, in your closets, in how your home is decorated. Is it more masculine or feminine? All right, I want to thank you each and all for being here today. That concludes our class 4, which is opening to receiving the messages from your divine higher self through the dimensions past and future. Namaste and blessings.